Is modern pop music trash? Let's talk about it. Modern pop music sucks. It's garbage. It's awful. This is what you hear every time there's a discussion about the state of modern music today. So why pop music is still at the top of every chart worldwide? If millions and millions of people like pop music, is it true that pop music is trash? In this video, we will see arguments from both sides. I will present scientific research explaining why, despite haters of pop music are very vocal, pop music is still at the top of the food chain. It's the most played, bought, streamed of all genres. And at the end of the video, leave a comment and let me know what you think. So you always hear the following criticism about modern pop music, especially chart-topping tracks for the past, let's say, 10 years. Repetitiveness, cliché and meaningless lyrics, unoriginality, all the pop songs sound the same, simplistic tune and arrangements. Yet pop music is still dominating marketing. Even though the icons of rock and metal are still doing big numbers, pop is short for popular because it appeals the vast majority of the audience, the average. But it didn't used to be this way. I remember many years ago MTV Music Awards being headlined by Rammstein, Korn, Manson. And awards were given equally pretty much to rock, pop, metal, hip-hop. Nowadays you see the same 6 or 8 artists, producers and production teams getting 10, 13 awards. Yet the general consensus is that the same pop music that is winning all the awards is awful. How is that? Let's analyze the criticism. So repetitiveness would be the first one with pop music. Same word or words repeated over and over. Same choruses, same theme, same melody over the course of the entire song. Here's a chart showing how pop music became more and more repetitive in the past 70 years. And let me show you something very interesting that Colin Morris came up with. I'm gonna show you a self-similarity matrix, a dot plot used to analyze human DNA applied to music and the repetitiveness of pop music. You can see here there are some of the popular songs number ones. Those blocks represent their repetitiveness. If we were to compress these songs like we do with files, they would be up to 80% compressible. Like in the case of Kylie Minogue, Can Get You Out of My Head, which sees basically only 2 lines, Can Get You Out of My Head and La 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 La. Yet this song was certified triple platinum and number 1 all over the world for weeks on end. Same goes for countless other artists, Taylor Swift, Ashanti, Katy Perry, Kesha, Beyonce. And what's the most repetitive song in the world, you will ask? Well, this is it. Daft Punk, Around the World. Basically one line repeated over and over for the course of the entire song for a 98% compressible rate. Yet, it was a worldwide success. So we all agree, pop music is definitely repetitive, but there's a reason. And also, is it just pop music? Nope. Repetitiveness has been there forever, and if you think about it, is in every genre, from classical to metal to hip-hop to EDM. Personally, I listen to many different genres. I'm a music lover first, and as a professional mix engineer, I get to mix very different genres as well. And my music tastes change over time due to more exposure to certain genre because of my job, but we will talk about this later. So I enjoy hip-hop as much as rock or metal or classical or acoustic. Rock being probably my favorite genres, I noticed one thing, that some of my favorite bands like Korn, Slipknot, Rammstein, System of a Down use repetitiveness a lot, don't they? A guitar riff repeated over and over during the song, or even lyrics. Let me show you an example. And the same goes for many classical compositions having the same bad tracks or EDM music. So what that does mean, that all music is bad because it's repetitive? No. It's just proof that as human beings, we like repetitiveness, especially in music. It's actually scientifically proven in one of the many studies, this one from 2015. Study 1 shows how lexical repetition is the cause, not the consequence, of a greater process fluency, meaning we process repetitive songs better and easier. Study 2 replicates the effect using custom-produced songs except holding everything constant but the lyrics. Study 3 analyzed top Billboard hot singles from 1958 to 1913 and shows how repetitive songs have a greater chance to reach number one. It's also proven by science that we like as human beings certain intervals more than others. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many studies showing us why we like what we like as human beings. It's also proven that our taste in music is not genetic, obviously, but the byproduct of exposure to a certain culture and a certain specific music genre. This is also why in Western society music is so different in intervals and melodies than indigenous music. It's also why our music taste changes if we are exposed enough to a certain genre. Due to territory, family, friends, we start to like what we hear more often. And here is where pop music wins. It takes advantage of this. The massive promotion. You literally can't get it out of your head because pop music is everywhere. TV, elevators, mall, advertisements, you name it. Promotion is key. The more you force a certain genre, a certain song to the masses, the more they like it. But arguably, you also need a song, a product that is liked by enough people already to then be able to spread it. This is the part that many people seem to overlook. You need to start with a song that is popular enough already, catchy enough already, for it to become a hit through promotion. On the other hand, though, it is also true that with enough promotion and the right circumstances, you can push crap to very high levels. That is a fact. We've seen many examples of this. But this is not just a sign of modern pop music. Think about the 80s. So repetitiveness is in every genre. As human beings, we like repetitiveness. Pop music just takes advantage of it. The second criticism would be cliché, meaningless lyrics. Well, that's true. That's just a fact. But why? One factor is definitely the age of the audience. With internet and social media, the age of the listeners are gone down. And young people are the biggest audience. They're also the more active on social media. So there you go. The music business, is a money-making machine. They produce what sells. And to sell to the biggest audience possible, the songs need to be relatable to the vast majority of the audience. In this case, young kids. And if you think about modern society, what kids do care about? Well, bullshit pretty much. Instagram, phones, college love stories, money, sneakers, the club. In short, light and mundane topics, because they're kids. This is what pop music is about, stuff that a 12 years old can understand and relate to. It's ironic though how many pop artists becomes role models, but rock and metal are still considered a bad influence. Lyrics are also a sign of times. Back in the years, rock alternative metal spoke about revolution, what was wrong with the society, personal struggles and concepts that made the listener think and react. And they inspired the next generation to do music because they had something to say, not because they wanted to get rich or buy their third Lamborghini or 500 pairs of sneakers. Pop music is a reflection of the snowflake society, the Instagram instant gratification fever, the dopamine rush of posting a picture and getting likes just because you're naked or because your cat just meowed on camera. We created this, and music industry, not music mind you, reflects and reacts to what works today. And looking at the Hot 100 singles, this is what works now. Meaningless and shallow lyrics. Actually, many times the millennial hoo-hoo is actually the lyrics. Go figure. Third criticism, all pop music sound the same, is unoriginal. This goes back to the repetitiveness, but it also introduces another very important concept, familiarity. As much as we like repetitiveness, we also like what's familiar. It goes for genres first. As we said before, the more we are exposed to a certain genre, family, friends, colleagues, the more we like it. Why? Science again, because our brain creates neural patterns. Create is the key word. For the longest time, science thought those patterns were there already. Recent studies show that they are created and they change. They are created in our very early years and then reinforced by our experiences, and they can be changed over time given enough exposure to certain type of music. But the point is, we like what's familiar, maybe because of memories, but we like certain sound, certain intervals, certain transitions, because the more we hear them, the more we like them. So of course the music industry, being money oriented, does what it works. Familiarity works, they keep doing the same thing until it stops working. Even in my job in sound engineering, why we keep using machines that are 40, 50 years old? Why we like so much the classics? Sure, because they are great machines, but also because they are familiar. They give you predictable results. Mixing on an SSL board will give you that sound. Passing a vocals through an LA2A will give you that sound. You get my point. Fourth criticism is simplistic tunes and arrangements. This is fairly easy. This is just a trend. As everything, the pendulum went from overly arranged songs to minimal, and everything in between. And if you look at the history of music, this will change again. And I have to admit, I personally like minimalistic arrangement and tracks, or at least those that sound simple. And definitely technology changed the music production and the mixing techniques. So technology will probably change that again. And so this being a trend, like every trend, some people like it, some people don't. I personally dislike the stupid candy pop synth in place of a vocal melody, but that's just me. On a different subject, controversial studies also say IQ plays a role in what kind of music one likes. I'm not sure I agree with these studies, but what they are trying to prove is that because the average IQ is, of course, average, if you want to appeal to the largest audience, you have to somewhat dumb down your music composition to a level they can understand. Again, I'm not sure I agree with that, but could it be a factor? Maybe. In conclusion, I want to show you a couple of things that hopefully will spark a discussion. These examples are taken from Colin Morris' video on pop music. Anaphora, starting every line with the same word. When Byron does it, it's poetry. If Lady Gaga does it, it's not good. If a pop artist uses a short loop repeated over and over, we call it monotonous. When a respectable artist does it, we have a fancy name for it, ostinato. If William Shakespeare uses a iambic pentameter, it's poetry. If Britney does it, again, not good. Obviously, these are meant to be funny examples. I don't want to compare Britney to Shakespeare or Iggy Azalea to Bach, but it's just food for thought. In conclusion, if modern pop music is so easy, why are you not number one? Well, most likely for two reasons. One, because writing earworms, chart-topping pop music is not that easy. The result sounds easy to the listener, but that's a big difference. And the second reason, almost in contradiction with what I just said, is that writing that kind of pop music is not that hard either. Especially with today's composition tools and computers, many musicians and producers end up writing the same shit over and over. And whether you make it or not is not a matter of talent anymore, but more about circumstances, where you are, who you know. But so let me know what you think about the state of modern music. Doesn't necessarily need to be pop, but if pop is king right now, what the other genres are doing, what's going on. I presented you with some interesting facts, I think, here, so now I want to hear your thoughts, guys. Leave it in the comment down below, and we might do more of these in the future. This is it for this video. I hope it was useful. I hope you liked it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. Follow MixBuzzTV on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.